Morning. I'm out again. Not been able to get out for a few weeks, but this autumn weather, you can't complain. And I got a few of these autumn leaves to get in now. I wanted to get in last time, but I was a bit early, wasn't I? I really wanted to get out and see the golden leaves, see the autumn colours, get them on video, because I've not been able to get out and do a quiet walk. I've got a video I'm waiting to pop out from Alderman's Hill near Dovestones, but it's not quite an autumny one. It's getting a bit out of season, to be fair, but you're having it anyway. But yeah, I'm here in Mottram Church today. See this bad boy? Yeah, look at that. It's an impressive thing, isn't it? It's Mottram Parish Church, St Michael's and All Angels, I think it is. Or Mottram Church, as I know it. Everybody around here knows it. Top of the hill nearby. You've probably seen it in a few of my videos. It's always poking out on top of the hills for miles around. You can see it. I'll spin you around so you can look at it properly. There we go. It's a really old church. In the building you can see now, apart from this bit across here, is from the 1400s. Can't remember exactly when it is. Again, as usual, I've done my research once upon a time and it's long gone out of my brain since. I just remember that it's the 15th century. And that bit there was done sometime in the, I think it was the mid-1800s. It's a Victorian era kind of addition. But the main building there has been around since the 1400s. That's amazing, isn't it? Apparently there was a church here from the 1200s at some point. I know that's a big bracket of space to just say the 1200s, it's 100 years. A lot can go on in there. But that's the best I've got for you. But it's pretty cool. If you look up there, you can see the little faces. I can't remember what you'd even call those anymore. They're not like strictly gargoyles, are they? But that kind of thing. There's a few of them bobbed around there on the tops of the tower, and a few of them around the edges of the building. I think it's such an eye-catching building with how old it is. And look at all the graves on the floor. And then the views as usual. Over the Snake Pass over there towards Clough again. That's that area you can see just over there. A little bit of valley in the middle is where the road goes up to the top. I do like to have a look at the features. Check these out. Up there, you can see them. Hopefully I've got everything in there. Bit of a highlighted grave again. Someone with a bit more money. Look at this little door here. It's pretty cool. I don't know what this is. Secret mouse entrance. And the views from the area are amazing. Up on the hill, but it does get windy up here. I've been up here on very many windy days. It's quite exposed. There's not many places that stand out on the hillside as much as this one. I've not even explained where I'm going ever. I thought I'd do a little bit of a wander around the back of here. I've done this on one of my quiet walks before as well, but the other way around. And I thought it's perfect because it's a little bit of every type of scenery as usual. Interesting architecture. Tick. Hills, we've seen some of the hills, haven't we, already? So there's hillsides, we've got some of that. I'll get a bit more in. And autumn colours. Interesting features, hopefully. That's all a bit crooked. I'll get moving on in a sec. I just thought I'm going to have a look at these interesting gravestones. Might sound a bit morbid. How interesting are these? But they are pretty interesting. Look at them. Look how cool and ornate some of them are. These older ones. It's very well preserved for the most part. There's the odd broken, damaged one lying around, but largely it's all in pretty good nick. And it goes on and on. Celtic cross style one. The reason I've come into the church to start with is I'm going to walk out the back of the yard of the newer end of the graveyard, cut down through the fields and go in towards Glossop, but not quite going that far. Back around the other side, back up to Broadbottom and into Mottram again. It's a nice little walk through the back. It's quite quiet as well, and that's how I like them, nice and quiet. This is primarily why I'm here. I'll get some autumn colours in. Just wanted to do a video and I didn't have anything planned, so I thought I'll do another one of these walkarounds and then see if I can capture some nice scenery before it all drops off for the winter. And then I'll be praying for snow just to get something else interested in instead of damp, dark twigs. It's quite warm actually. I think it's about 15 degrees at least. I've not actually checked, but that's what it's been averaging recently and it feels very similar. You see I've come out warm and layered, but that's probably overkill for this. Once I get walking, I'll probably absolutely roasting. Oh, Jesus Christ. Probably shouldn't say that in a churchyard, but bloody hell, nearly went then. It's a bit risky, I suppose that's why they put handrail on there. And I just ignored that. Live and learn. Hopefully. Don't want to end up not being moved very far because this is where I came to my bitter end. Now, I did bring my drone out today. I just thought there's a chance I might get a chance. Yeah. There's a chance I might get to throw it up and have a little bit of a look around. I've just noticed over there, that's all the new Mottram Bypass works, which if you're local or even if you cut through this way, you'll have heard of it, no doubt. I'm reaching the point where there's some nice colours to be seen. You can see Coombes rocks up there again, in the background, peeking out over those pine, fir trees, whatever they are. There's a little bit of a cut through that I only discovered recently. It's a bit of a sloppy, messy path, so hopefully it's not too bad. It's only the day after bonfire night, so usually it rains quite a lot. It's usually a lot colder as well. I think this is the first year I remember it being this warm around bonfire night. Usually the back garden, you go in there and do some sparklers and stuff. My daughter, maybe a couple of fountains. It's usually raining, it's usually really cold. All the leaves are usually long gone. They are around the garden, but I noticed yesterday it was so much more warm and everything's still holding on. So it's a bit strange. I know I can say climate change there, probably can't I? I can thank that for that. I say thank. Longdendale Valley. See that little jutting out bit there, the little spiky bit? That's over near Crowden. Just to the right of it, where it lowers down a bit, that's the quarry. Is it Loft End Quarry, I believe it's called. There where those trees are, the green patch there, just where the fields go from grass to heather. There's that little V of grass, isn't there? Tree, should I say. I've got a drone video flying over there actually. Might be worth a look at if you'd like a closer look at it. That's Arnfield Brook, or Arnfield Clough. That's the one with the 7 waterfalls. It's nice walking up there. Everyone goes there to see the huge waterfalls dropping down from the moors. I always say there's a lot more than 7, but there's 7 very obvious ones. It's a nice walk right up to the top. You can follow it all the way up and then come down the moor there on the other side into Tintwistle. It's nice. Apart from the big pipe that runs down the side of it, right down the middle of it, there's a big asbestos pipe, so don't walk too close to that on a dry day. Might be wheezing at the end. Right, I'm just tracing it along now because I can hear the river, and I saw 2 ladies come out here with a dog a minute ago, so I know it's roughly around here. Oh, there's a path there. I'll go for that. That one looks a little bit more manageable. There we go. Yep, and it's wee slippy. Don't step on the wet wood. Wet green wood is not your friend. Every valley kind of around here, every valley staircase to get you up and down, they have these wood fronts obviously to stop them slipping away, make steps. But they are lethal this time of year. Apparently they're all chewed up here if you look around. I spoke to somebody coming through here once. Got talking to him about it and he said, oh yeah, you have to watch it through here, it gets a bit chewed up. So apparently one of the farmers who works here, owns the fields, walks his cows up through here. That must be an interesting sight. But you can see why it's all chewed right up. It's going to be fun getting across there. So this will be fun. I'm glad I came with my Gore-Tex shoes on. Like, it'd be nice if they were a little bit higher than ankle height. But look, I've got to get to that. Not even close to worth going to that. Across here. I think I'll just go up the side there. I think that looks a bit safer. Right into a spider's web face first. That's nice. Here. Yeah, there we go. Try not to hold on to the dead wood. A lesson in how to traverse a valley. All them dangers that I just passed. Luckily we're not somewhere like Australia, because the spider web in the face might have been a lethal occurrence. I might not have survived. More styles. Styles are back in style. Still picking bits of web off my face. There's a bit more woodland to go through yet, so I'm hoping to get some more of these colours. I can probably freestyle it a little bit, as I usually do. There's no definitive way I have to go, but there's a couple of places I'd like to get in just because they've got some nice countryside in them. A couple of my little hidden gems, which aren't that hidden. There's a few people know about them, but they're fairly quiet. I've still got web on my face somewhere. Catches in the wind every now and again. I can feel it dragging on my eyelashes. Lovely. Hopefully there's not a spider living on my head somewhere. Safe. There's the side of Coombes Edge. Coombes Rocks. It's a natural feature. That's the big bowl quarry looking area, but it's just a natural kind of cliff edge. And the back end where it slopes down at the back here. Keep ruining the focus, I know, but that bit there, that's Cowan Edge around the back side of it there. And it all backs on over there beyond it towards Kinder. More styles. A little bit overgrown with brambles. Let's not get stuck to that. I'll be collecting them later. We've got some stick insects at home, giant Australian stick insects. Really big beast things, they're like this big. Somewhere, the girl is anyway. And they like brambles. I have to collect brambles to feed them. Brambles and roses so far. That's what I'm going for anyway. Look at that willow, that looks cool, doesn't it? I noticed they're turning yellow very late this year. One of the few trees that are holding on in some places is still quite green. There's a lot going on here. This must be all the bypass stuff. I can hear a lot of beeping and reversing. Warnings coming out the back of the lorry. Look at that feature. Is it wet? Is it lethal? Let's hold on to a tree while we do it. Safe. Oh yeah, some high vises over there. High visors, so there must be something there in terms of access to that bypass work. You can see it all the way down there actually, if you look. See them over there? I think that's where it's going to attach in Woolley Bridge. And that's Mouslow Castle up there, you know, with the little aerial on top. It's not a castle anymore, but it's the site of one. I can't remember how much of it remains, to be honest, if there's a bit of a floor site, but that's the site of it anyway. Off the top of my head where that goes. You can see where it goes. It goes down there towards Glossop, Woolley Bridge. But that is a non-starter, my friend. Absolutely not. I think we're going to go this way. Cut through the farm, through the field, up a nice lane, up another lane, through another field, up another lane, back to Mottram, back to where we started. That's the plan anyway. I've only been this way a couple of times, and every other time I've been, it's been quiet. There's a few cows. I'm hoping the cows out in the field. I'm not a fan of the cows. I like cows, I like feeding them. You know, when you take the kids to a place to feed cows, that's nice. But I'm not cutting through the cows. Done me a favour, just dragged all the slop out of the way. Winner. So that's cut through 6 inches of poo. This on the other hand is going to be grim. Should have came in the boots today. Oh, this is horrible. I'm basically cutting through what smells like cow cack. Don't fall. And wee. Ugh, that smells. Ugh, don't fall in it. It is grim and thick. It's like, oh God, I'm not going through the middle of that. That's poo. Right, that was the best bet here. I think I'm gonna have to climb over a fence and make it easier on myself. I'm gonna have to cut you off. This is what I've resorted to. Seen this? Swinging one-handed between sections. There's so much, should we call it gubbins? It's actually impassable. Let's show you the truth of the tale. There we go. That's it's not going to work for me, that. Shortcut is essential. And there we go, I've resorted to a shortcut. And I'll return to the path as soon as possible before said cows come for me. The swinging thing didn't work out too great for me. I'll save anyone who's too squeamish. I was swinging from tree branch to tree branch and grabbed hold of, what was the same last time I did one of these videos, was one of my favourite trees. Grabbed hold of a hawthorn tree and impaled my hand, my finger, slightly on it. So I'm bleeding. In fact, I think I'll follow the field down over there. I'm next to the path, I'm adjacent. And then I'll sort out the wound. It's not as bad as it looks, just because I'm leaving it dripping. It's just a tiny little cut. But it was the natural, you know, you get the big thick black thorn sticking out the side. Maybe it was blackthorn, not hawthorn. It did me an injustice anyway. That was some awful stuff though, there's no way. Oh God, my shoes. It was like an actual soup. I did Tough Mudder once, a long time ago with my brother and sister, brother-in-law, and I can't remember if anyone else. I think it was just us four. There was a bit in there where you had to go through this like soupy mud, and it was like that. It smelled similar as well. Not sure if people were relieving themselves in that pool, but it was very similar to the consistency of that, where it just looked kind of like a bad gravy. Not to ruin your dinner. Maybe don't watch this at dinner time. But if you're watching it already, it's too late. That ship has sailed. Alright, another interesting style for you. That must be to cow-proof it. Look, there's a Tameside trail sign there, so I probably could have come this way somehow. That's a kick in the chops, isn't it? Alright, I know I've got, looks like a nice spot there. Luckily, I came out prepared, as in packet of tissues. So I can stop revealing my bloody finger to everybody, in case anybody's a bit squeamish. Cows are all watching me. Told you they're against me. See them over there. They don't trust me and I don't trust them. As you might imagine, I'm now dragging my feet through the longest, wettest grass I can find, trying to clear the nature from my nice red shoes. Tainted forever now. There's some gorgeous colours when you get to these wooded areas. Looks great. It's a little cut through I've not done before. Maybe I'll come back and do that another time. That's a nice view too. Okay, I've just had a peek and see where I am there. That little pink arrow this way would go down here and around the Hague. It's not that Hague. I want to be on that top route here. Go down here and up back up to, see, Lower Mud. That's the word for the day, mud. Mottram Hill, that's where we're going. Right, let's crack on again. Looks like I'm going up here. That's the other way for reference, should anybody follow in my footsteps. There we go, another style. Don't often see them ones around here. The big A-frame ones. But we're not going that way either. We are going past this one as well. If my memory is correct. And I know because I got lost the first time we came this way. Yep, there it is. Yeah, that's 4 styles there. This is the most in-style place you might come across. So not that way. This way. It's like Tameside Trail it is again. Everybody's talking about ladybirds this year, I think. Absolutely everybody's on about the ladybirds. There we go, if I focus on my hand, should be able to see them. See? Some people seem to get upset by them, don't they? I've got even more now, here we go. Good, they're everywhere. Just put my face into another web. It's a winner. See, I wasn't fibbing, there's quite a few. This is about the 5th post I've walked past and there's quite a lot of them. Running the ladybird gamut. Not got any yellow ones or anything. I've got all the regulars. Is anyone really squeamish about ladybirds? Does anybody really care? Webs on my face. I don't think anybody's walked this way for a while. I think they're cool. And they eat all the green fly, don't they? The aphids. I'm going to have to stop to wipe my face. There we go. I can't keep looking at myself in this screen. I see any spiders walking on my fizzog. Yeah. But yeah, the ladybirds, they do a good job, don't they? Usually don't get enough of them. I'd say so. Since they don't eat the vegetables, then bring them on. This is a nice little spot. I like this bit, this cut through. These nice colours. Some wood pigeons taking off. Considering they're up the trees, the wood pigeons are very skittish. Maybe they spent too many years being turned into some kind of pie in the medieval times. And that was supposed to be 4 and 20 blackbirds, wasn't it? Pigeon pie, I used to think that was daft until I started to see wood pigeons when I was a little bit older. When I was a kid, I just thought all pigeons were the sight you see, minus a couple of toes walking around the town centres. But then we had a few wood pigeons move into our back garden later on, and they're big. They're big uns, aren't they? The wood pigeons, I had one of them that was quite friendly, used to come and visit me. He used to feed eat peanuts and he used to fly down, especially to see me. And none of the other ones would come up to me, but that one was my mate. I liked that one. Look at this view here. It's a nice one. Well, that one just intercepted a spider web. Got it before it got to my face. Special ladder to feed the birds. Here's a niche. Tuck in all sides. There you go, look, see? Another route. There's an abundance of routes, to say the least, around here. And to be honest, I really don't know where most of them go. I know it's on either side of these routes, so I don't imagine it goes anywhere too clever. It probably just cuts through the yard of somebody's house. Broadbottom. Woolley Bridge. Broadbottom. It's very quiet around here though, I do like it. Ah, I think it's that way. Is it that way? Right, now I'm confused. I think it's that way. Never come through this direction. Tameside Trail. I'm not following the Tameside Trail effectively, but it does keep popping up on here. And normally, because I'm not paying attention to a specific trail, I don't pay much attention to it. Just don't slip on the wet sycamore leaves. Oh yeah, this is what I remember. It's a nice old sign. Valleyway. And that's Mottram Castle, which you should see from the other side a bit better. There you go, an abundance of routes there. Etherow Goit Valleyway, Tameside Trail, Pennine Bridleway, Greater Manchester Ringway, Mottram Castle. We're not going to Mottram Castle. We are going this way, which is back towards Broadbottom. Look at that. That looks like your favourite horror film location, doesn't it? This is another one of these secret little gates that they don't want you to know about. Secret gate. Nobody's told me they don't want me to know about this. I'm making it up. But this one is particularly well tucked away. See? Phew. I am warm, I was right. I'm sweating under here. Walking relatively fast. I'm blaming it on that cow field. I put all my energy into swinging on posts to get past that cow slop. It's done me various injustices. It's caused me a hole in my finger. Some highly abused shoes. Let's have a look at this. Another abandoner. Let's have a hop up and look over. That's very old with the wooden beams above the window still. Yeah, and that's Kinder Scout over there, the furthest away you can see there, the highest bit on the edge. Not this bit, that's part of the edge of Coombes Edge still, the furthest back one. Kinder Scout, that's the highest place in the Peak District, for those who don't know already. I can't remember what it is exactly, 666 metres, should we say. I know it's 636 or 40, somewhere around 640 metres, I think. It'd been interesting for some of the legends if it was 666 metres, because I think it has a legend as a bit of a, oh, look at that. I just saw an apple on the road, I wonder where it came from. Apple tree. Won't mind one with apples that big on it. But yeah, Kinder Scout has a bit of a reputation. One of its legends is that it was the devil's seat, kind of. It's where the devil lived. Probably another way to keep people out of private land. In one of my ghostly walker tales, I covered that a little bit. I mentioned, I think it was the Nell Nettlespike one, was it? Yeah, Nell Nettlespike and her witchy offspring, Nan Nutter. And Nell Nettlespike went over there to dethrone the devil off Kinder Scout because she wanted to be the biggest, baddest in the area. But if the devil's big enough to use Kinder Scout as a chair, then I don't think any amount of witch power is going to sort you out there. And it didn't. She got duffed. I'll let you look that one up yourself if you fancy hearing a bit more about it. What have we got growing in this field? Oh, sorry, bud. Blackbird. Shouting at me as it goes. I don't know if that is anything, but it looks a little bit like cabbagey kind of leaves. And the other way back there, that the previous route, the Melandra Castle one, that's a Roman fort. Or it was, what remains of it. There's a bit of an archaeological site now. You can go and look at it. There's like information boards and things. There's a bit of a thing to read through. But it was an actual proper Roman fort, which is good because they think there was a decent Roman presence here. I think there's a few spots they call Roman roads. Everywhere has Roman roads, doesn't it? But it does have a few which seem to be very, very old because they did such a good job making those straight lines, putting everyone in place with an Italian accent, Latin accent. Don't know what they sounded like. It was 2,000 years ago, wasn't it? Can hear a train going past. There it is. You'll see the houses here, all the samey looking pebble dash houses with the dark roofs. That's Games Lane, that's where Melandra Castle is, the Roman fort. But all this, you can see here, that's Bleak Clough again. That's the Snake Pass going up here. That's like the Doctor's Gate Valley, people might know. Bleak Clough Moor. That's the top of Longdendale Edge, so that's kind of where I said the Devil's Elbow stories were before, up near the Devil's Elbow. Yeah, nice views from here. Especially this time of year. Considering throwing my drone up again for a second, just to see what I can see. It's a nice spot. It's nice and quiet. Did have a nice flying around then. Got over the Etherow there, the River Etherow. Flew over towards the railway track that I said before. Saw the train go past on. I was hoping a train had come past, but it didn't. It'll probably come past now while I'm waiting here, while I'm eating this. Wagon Wheel. Not sponsored by Wagon Wheel. But if you're from Wagon Wheel, get in contact. Who makes wagon wheels? Is it McVitie's or? I don't actually know. Yeah, no idea. But if you want to send some free wagon wheels my way, I won't complain how wagon wheels have got smaller since I was a kid. But they have. Yeah, the view's awesome. Such a nice day. Won't be many more like this left in the year, will there? Keep moving then. Let's see. Stopped here for the nice view. And look, I was only banging on about these the other day, wasn't I? Saying how much I liked them. And now the berries last a lot longer than the leaves. And look, here you go. That's what got me. A bigger one of them. Hawthorn. Respect the hawthorn, or it'll come for you. I could gladly walk miles and miles of these kind of tracks, these lanes. They're gorgeous. Especially this time of year with those colours. Amazing. And the light coming through. Couldn't have chose a better day if I tried. This is where I came for one of my walks, where I did a bit of a bluebell walk. There's a few fields up here under the trees, and they do get covered in bluebells in spring. I didn't get to them this year, I did it the year before. But it's such a nice spot. And I went in there with my other half and my daughter, and there was some deer in there running around, which was nice. I surprised them a bit, and they obviously liked it, as they do. Love the ferns as well. There we go. They're all going. There's a bit of a sweet spot, I think, for them when the frost starts to come in and they go that really dark, rusty colour. And obviously there's a few here that are all the kind of dry browns that you expect. But you can get them in fields, so they're all stood up and they're still holding on to each other and covered in frost, and they have this nice reflective orange look about them. Crowden is the place I always think of when I think of them. There's some huge swathes of them. Some big sections by the river. Crowden Large Brook, Crowden Brook. I forgot what it's called now. There's Crowden Little Brook and Crowden Big Brook. And they grow across either side of the river as you go. There's some nice spots. I've got a couple of nice photos of us mooching around in the fields on the sides of the hillside in the valley. And they make some nice pictures. They're all like chest high and my daughter's head sticking out the top. It's brilliant. So I know largely pylons are classed as an eyesore. Or maybe it's because they've been there as long as I can remember, so they don't bother me as much. I do think they make an interesting feature here and there. I don't know if it's something to do with me doing a bit of photography. And I like to frame something in the picture. Because they travel all the way down here. They go right down, right through Longdendale there, over the hills. They go past, not far from where I live. There are quite a lot of them around here, but in some places you can get much higher than them up on the hillside and look down on them, and they make some interesting sights. Oh, nearly leant on this. It's absolutely covered in ladybirds again. I was just about to lean on it, and I made a ladybird pancake. It's funny, isn't it? You stop moving for a second and then everything just suddenly appears. If you just stay still for a second. I'm stood there looking around and moving and I don't see anything, but as soon as you just take a breather and have a quick look around, everything starts to just pop in. Little spider running around the edge. That one's nice, the black one. It's got an interesting pattern. A little bit like eyes. There's so many of them this year. Found a good place to winter up, guys. Now this is the spot I was looking for to cut into. And now I'm wondering if it's a shame if I finish earlier and go this way, or if I should carry on up there. I'm always doing this. I never really choose myself a route. I just wander off and see what I can find. I was really hoping to walk through this little section here. What's down there? Road, a couple of big houses, steep hill, a donkey. No, I'm going to go this way. I think this way's the winner. I think the other way is a little bit pathy. It's in the other video, if anyone ever wants to see what's that way. Come out to see the colours, and that turns into a steep hill pretty quickly. Not that I'm bothered by the steep hill, it's just buildings. So we'll cut through here. Maybe we'll see the deer. I don't know if we will. It's a little bit late in the day. I don't know where they managed to hide. But they always manage to tuck themselves away, don't they, for the rest of the day. This is banging around next to my microphone. It's going to be annoying. There are a lot of rabbits up here as well. Lots of rabbit holes. There's a little bit of a deviation from the route that I can do into the field here, and that has lots of rabbit holes in it. I'll have a look, maybe we'll see some scooting along. There's lots of wildlife this way. It's nice. I've seen badgers a couple of times, not very often. There's a big badger set on the side of one of the paths on the way back. Deer, foxes, loads of birds obviously. Yeah, and the pylons I was talking about, occasionally you get a barn owl for some reason in different areas. They either all like to sit on pylons as a good sitting spot to see what they're doing, or it's the same barn owl running around, flying around. Alright, here we go. There is a field full of stuff again. And this looks remarkably like the stuff that was in that field that I thought was some kind of vegetable. But as far as I'm aware, this field never gets used for anything. So, must just be general foliage, general ground foliage. General ground foliage, sir. As you can get up into the trees here, so it's a nice viewpoint. I can hear constant trains going past now. We're drawn away. And then they pass every 5 minutes. Did you wild apples? I don't think I'll be having a bite of them. But interesting. Can't see what they came from. I'm assuming this is some kind of crab apple tree then. I love this little spot. I stopped here in my Bluebell walk video to film under this tree and down here. Another nice big oak. Said last time there was no shortage of these, didn't there? Which means the floor is riddled with rolly acorns, which I'm not falling over, slipping on and sliding down this hill. I think that's it for chances of deer or rabbits. This is usually where I see them. They're probably all around, they just can see you coming a mile away, can't they? They're much more keyed into the sounds than we are, or me at least. Now this floor feels a bit turned over, it's very soft, so maybe it has been ploughed over to be something. So I'll make sure I don't step on all these leaves. Well, they do just look somewhere between a weed and cabbage or something. Well, there's just far too many of them in one place for it to be a blown here plant, I don't think. Not like they've all been sprinkled. Well, all the years I've come this way, I've never seen them do anything with this, which I suppose makes sense because where's the grass gone? Maybe it has been turned into something. Fungus. The brambles have grown up, gone up the tree and hung over. Don't want head height brambles, I'll have your eye out. If brambles ever evolved to reach head height, we're doomed. Taking over. Another quick, angular style. Now, Woolly Bridge and Broadbottom. We saw those signs before, didn't we? So, if we'd have followed that other sign for Broadbottom before, it probably would have brought us this way. But again, I've never actually walked it that way. We're going to Warhill, which is where Mottram Church is again. Which I've heard a couple of names of why it's called Warhill. Once thought there was a war. I think it was with, who was it now? I don't know, I'll have to look it up again. It was the site of a war, do you think, at some point? Or also that the name Warhill is one of those words where war used to mean something else and it basically means hill. Might have a quick check when I get up the hill, up Warhill. This is a nice field. As far as fields go, look at that view. Must be a nice place to live. I've come through here in winter when it was covered in snow and it was really nice. It was untouched, there's nobody to cut through. And it was just a blanket of white snow. It was great. It's one of those spots that's perfect all year round. It's great now. It's great when it's covered in snow. In summer, obviously, it's summer. It looks lovely and lush. And in the spring, it's covered in bluebells around the edges. And the view, as usual. Old faithful Longdendale. Ah, they've cleared the tree. It's going to be a habit on my videos, isn't it? There was a big fallen tree. And here, across the path, but it looks like it's been trimmed back. But yeah, finally got to chopping it. Somebody must have needed to get through. It had a nice big arch. There's one you could walk straight under. Some more slippy wooden steps, but they look a bit dry. So that's okay. Even though they are covered in rolly acorns again. I won't keep going on about acorns forever. Robin. Yeah, not far off now, nearly back. There's Mottram Church. Harrop Edge to the left of there. And that's Wild Bank and Hobson Moor again, that way. Bit of cloud moving into Kinder Scout over there. Always my old friends, the moos. But we're not going that way. You know why? Because they ruined my shoes. I don't actually live in Fairy Cows. I've just been in a few spots where they've cornered me in walking trails, and it's a bit uneasy when they're this big. I'm sure if you deal with cows all the time, you just shove them out of the way. Move. Right, this section coming up is always a bit of a gamble. I've been here and it's been filled like a swamp with water. Well, then I came here in the winter when I said I walked through that field with the snow, and it was knee deep in the lower patches here. It was actually properly deep. The lower down I've come here like I'm walking downhill now into another web. The snow just got deeper and deeper. I was up to past my knees in some points. I've got some photos I took of myself with it down by my knees. Silver birch. A little bird's nest. There you go, you can see the reeds, the bulrushes with the big brown tops over there. Style number 652 of the day. Right, and that way leads to Gorsey Brow, the way we're going. Back to Mottram Church. I don't suppose I've got here just in time to hear it do the bells. No, 20 past 1. Not going to hear any bonging. Nearly back to the church, up on War Hill. I just had a quick refresh. I won't pretend that I just pulled the knowledge out of thin air again. It was close to what I said. It was the site of it was potentially the site of a Saxon era war. It said King Stephen and, was it Queen Matilda? Can't remember if she was Queen or Lady Matilda. Can't remember what she was now. I've already forgotten. I think it could be the site of a burial ground or just the site of a battle. And that's why it's called War Hill. But there's also the idea that the word quarrel, which is like a site of a quarry, it's an old Middle English word apparently. It sounds like War Hill, quarrel. It sounds a bit of a reach, that one, to me. I'm not saying there was definitely a war here either. You think something like that would be a bit easier to research. Bits of metal turning up in the fields and what have you. But quarrel, War Hill. I've not seen any signs of quarries around here or heard about them. So, could be either one. Choose your favourite. It's an oldie. That's the old sundial. And I was about to tell you about it, but it does say there, actually, restored in commemoration of the 60th, if I could speak English, 60th year of the reign of Queen Victoria, 1897. Used to be a cross, apparently, the sundial. Once. I think it was 1760s or something, I think it was. And then it was refurbished to the sundial. But I'm all the way back, that's me. I've come full circle. I've done my bit. A couple of hours walk. Gets me away from my desk for a bit. And gets my shoes covered in turds. I'll be setting fire to these when I get home. Watch the demons leave them, because they do stink. I can smell them every time I stop moving, and the wind resistance goes away. I get a horrendous waft. Yeah, I thought I'd finish up here for the interesting scenery again, and walk down to my car, just park down the side of the hill here. War Hill. The tower looks cool. Not many better places to finish up, is there? So yeah, thanks for watching. If you've watched this far, thanks very much. Hope you enjoyed it, my little walk around. If you want to see some more, you know what to do. Subscribe and like and subscribe and all that lot. And I'll see you next time I go out.